Hey everybody and welcome back to ScrewLooseGames. I'm Sack and yes, indeed, I've said this many times on this channel, but I absolutely adore Dark Souls and the entire Souls-like genre at that. But outside of platinuming every game I can get my little hands on, there's something I've never delved too deep into, and that's challenge running. But that changes today. Welcome, dear viewer, one and all, to the first in a series of Dark Souls challenge runs I will be doing here on the channel, starting off with the Dark Souls one-shot challenge, where I will attempt to kill every enemy in the entire game in just a single hit. Every mob, mini-boss, NPC, and mainline boss in one blow. Now, before we get into the rules, let me preface something. You're unlikely to see anything new here if you like watching challenge runs, outside of someone new to the scene doing it in 2025. This run, this series, all of this, it's nothing more than a bit of fun. I've taken out certain rules from the more famous one-shot challenges such as Vegeta 311 and the Backlogs challenge runs, and replaced them with my own, and even added a couple in myself. So please don't consider this anything quote-unquote official in terms of challenge runs, just a bit of fun from someone that's dipping their toes into the scene. But having said that, just know that the heart and soul of the challenge, that being to kill every enemy in the game in just a single hit, remains the same. Now, with that bit of exposition out of the way, here are the rules. The run officially begins after leaving the Undead Asylum. Every single enemy must be killed in a single attack or button press, mobs included. This is the golden rule. I'll be playing offline, so no invaders or points for them. Every NPC, boss, and mini-boss is 1 point. With no invaders, that leaves 125 possible points. I'll explain why it's 125 and not 123 later. If I don't get at least 100 points, I fail the challenge. I cannot research character and boss locations or keep track of how many points I'm on. Every act of the game I cannot exceed by 33 levels, which leaves me with a level cap of 99, with these being the 3 acts of the game. No glitches, no summoning. The run officially ends when I return to the Asylum Demon in New Game Plus, thus completing the cycle. And most importantly, have fun. So with all that out of the way, let's begin the ScrewLooseGames Dark Souls one-shot challenge. We pick our starting class, that being the Pyromancer, and make our way through the Asylum. We don't really have to worry too much about this area as the run hasn't technically started yet, but it's a good opportunity for us to warm up, get some practice in with our backstabs and parries, because if we can't confidently one-shot even these hollows, well, the run may as well already be over. After arriving at Firelink Shrine, we make our way through the Burg, riposting, backstabbing and fireballing along the way, until we make it to the Undead Merchant where we can buy the Reinforced Club. Its damage is already noticeably better than our starting axe, but its potential, so much more. We then get to the tower before the Taurus Demon, use the Master Key to descend, and give Havel the old 1-2 switcheroo. Then after arriving at the Valley of the Drakes, we get the most important item of the run, the red tearstone ring. I'm sure the majority of people watching this video already know what this does, but for the uneducated few watching, the red tearstone ring boosts your damage by an additional 50% so long as your health remains under 20%. The ultimate risk versus reward item for damage output, and something we will not be taking off for the entirety of this run. While we're down here, we grab the Grass Crest Shield and the Grass Crest Shield. Why can't I say Grass Crest? We grab the Grass Crest Shield and give the Black Knight Guardian an old how's it going, and come full circle to the other side of the Undead Burg. Well, the Boulder Knights may be a bit much for our pyromancy right now, but the Reinforced Club? Oh yeah, that'll do just fine. We grind for Souls and Titanite to upgrade our Reinforced Club until we reach a point where we no longer even need to worry about backstabs or parries. We can just one-shot any basic mob at the start of the game with ease now. We still have a bit of setup before we can get the party started good and proper, but let's just see what this bad boy is capable of, with a little pine resin and the red tearstone ring activated. How have I never used either of these in a playthrough before? Once we've accumulated a mere 20,000 souls,
a small loan of $1 million,
we buy the Crest of Artorias from Andre the Blacksmith so that we can unlock the shortcut in Darkroot Garden and get the Hornet Ring from Sif's Boss Arena, which boosts all critical hits by 30%, meaning our already lethal backstabs and riposts just became that much more spicy. We join Arvena's covenant along the way so we don't get attacked by any of her followers, as we aren't quite ready to take them on just yet. Our next stop before getting things going is Blighttown, but instead of heading there straight away, I head back up to Firelink so I can grab the Zweihander, because it wouldn't be a Dark Souls run if I didn't come back for my beloved Zwei. After descending down everyone's favourite area in Dark Souls, we now need to farm 9 green titanite from the slugs at the bottom and grab the Great Club while we're here. RNG has never been my friend in these games, but considering I was only down here for about an hour or so, I'd consider that a massive win. And I'm sure that's going to be the most time-consuming grind I'm going to have to do in this run.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
We now make our way through everybody's second favourite area in Dark Souls, the Catacombs. Yay! Fun fact, in my first ever playthrough of Dark Souls, I went here before the Undead Burg and had such a horrible time, I may or may not have ended up rage quitting and then refused to touch the game for months after. We fight our way through the Bone Zone, making sure to backstab those sneaky undead mages to stop the Skeletons from resurrecting, until we reach the skeletal blacksmith, Vamos. Here we can trade in our green titanite and turn our +5 reinforced club to a +5 fire reinforced club. And finally, let's start having some fun. The Taurus Demon is an easy fight at the worst of times, but after letting the crossbow hollows whittle us down to red tearstone range, all it takes is one plunge and the big boy falls, becoming the first mainline boss to enter the first tri-club. The armoured boar of the parish gets his annual colonoscopy, the Black Knight never even knew what hit him, the Berenike Knight falls with a single swing, and oh no you don't, Channeler, no one escapes my wrath, this is Sack's world, you're just no longer living in it. Next up, the gargoyles. Let's see what they think of this. Oh, well, that's disappointing. We'll come back to them. Alright, we've already done everybody's 2 favourite areas in the entire game, so let's go ahead and do one of everyone's 2 favourite bosses, the Capra Demon. It's a simple enough fight, we all know the drill. Take out the enemies on the way to the boss room, get in red tearstone range, enter the arena, and immediately get stuck by one of his dogs and die. I fucking hate this boss, man. Our second attempt goes much cleaner. We go in with full health and this time use his dogs to get us into red tearstone range before going for the plunge. Now, I didn't notice until reviewing the footage, but Capra was actually losing health every time he dropped down after me. I don't know, what do you guys think here? I mean, I technically stuck to the rules and killed him in one attack and button press. It's not my fault he damaged himself prior. Anyway, I'll meet you in the middle and ask for a mulligan on this one that I'll repay you before the run is complete. Deal? With our damage for gargoyles being lacking, it's time we unlock what will be one of the final necessary items for the build, Power Within. All the way back down in Blighttown. God damn it, why didn't I grab this earlier? Again, for those uneducated viewers, Power Within is a pyromancy that, much like the red tearstone ring, increases your damage output, this time by 40%, but with the caveat of draining your health by 1% per second. And this stacks with the red tearstone, so combined, we have the potential for some absolutely insane damage right now. But with the risk of our maximum time to be in what the community has dubbed hyper mode being 20 seconds. Yeah, I'm cool with that, I didn't want to walk back anyway. Before fighting the gargoyles again, we free Lotrek so we can find them at Firelink later on, and with hyper mode now active, it's time to try the gargoyles again, and... are you fucking shitting me? Okay, I didn't want to have to do this, but the gargoyles are leaving me little choice. It's time to bring out the big guns and get what is arguably the most important item of any run I ever do on Dark Souls. After making our way to the depths to free Laurentiis and taking out the 2 butchers with ease, we get it. You may not like it, but this is what peak masculinity looks like. Oh, we also grabbed the large ember to further upgrade our weapon, I guess. We head back to Firelink, where now freed Laurentiis can upgrade our Pyromancer's Flame, and after aggroing Lautrec before resting at the fire to reset his health, we answer the age-old question: how do you one-shot an enemy in 0 hits? You let gravity do the work for you. Another point in the sack. We may lose a point or two down the line as we're now unable to kill the Firekeeper, but I'd argue it's worth it to keep the waifu alive. Okay, 3rd time's the charm. This time, thanks to the large ember, we upgrade our Zwei to a +10 and take another stab at the gargoyles. Thank you, my beloved. I knew you called to me for a reason. And just like that, the first of the 2 bells of awakening have been rung, and it's time for the second. All the way back down in Blight Town. We talked to Quelaag before heading into the boss arena to buy the Firestorm spell, and now it's time for the first genuine brick wall of the run. Chaos Witch Quelaag. This is the first boss with a considerably large health bar, especially for Act 1. So big, in fact, that we kind of can't one-shot it. At least not with a normal attack. We need to take advantage of the terrain to get the perfect jump attack that in a single swing comes into contact with her hitbox twice. The first attempt, not so great. Okay, let's try the Great Club. Better, but still not getting the jump. 3rd time's the charm? Oh crap, I don't like where this is going. So we need to increase the damage of our club, and that means we need the very large ember to give ourselves a max level weapon. The only problem is, it's down in New Londo, which is full of ghosts that can only be damaged if you use a transient curse, and they're expensive at this point in the game. But there is a workaround. We head down to the depths to get cursed by a basilisk, and while our health is halved when in cursed state, we also have a permanent state of transient curse, without needing to spend any souls, making the trip through New Londo an absolute free breeze. We take care of Ingrid while we're here, and with no problem whatsoever, the very large ember is ours. We can also take advantage of the Dark Wraith Knights here for their Titanite chunks, which we'll need to level up our weapon further, and in a single blow, they all fall down. Now we just need 1 Titanite slab, which RNGesus gifts us on our 2nd Lizard of the Great Hollow, and now it's time to see if Quelaag likes a maxed out Pine Resin Hyper Mode Great Club. She does not. And just like that, that's both bells rung, and the gate to Sen's Fortress open. Back at Firelink, Frampt has now appeared, telling us to head to Anor Londo and begin the 2nd act of the game. But before that, we farm 30 humanity for the Chaos Covenant, not to save Solaire for once, but to unlock the Chaos Storm spell. This, along with Firestorm, will help carry us through the game for some time now. But don't take my word for it. Mr. Prowling Demon, what do you think of Chaos Storm? Cooks up nicely. Moving on to Sen's Fortress, it is... well, Sen's Fortress. I don't know about you guys, but I have never really struggled with this area. With the exception of that one boulder with the jankiest hitbox in the history of gaming, this labyrinth has always been a bit of a breeze to me. And with our build making the more difficult enemies like the mimics an absolute joke, it's easier than ever. We make sure to free Big Hat Logan as he's going to be vital to our endgame build, then make our way to the summit towards the next boss. We show off Chaos Storm to the various giants to make sure they don't interfere with the boss fight. We only need to take out the 1 for the boss, and 1 of the 3 isn't even worth a point, so why are we even doing this?
No witnesses?
Next on the table, the Iron Golem. Another easy boss, we all know the drill. We just hit him with a high DPS spell and watch him fall off the edge. I said, watch him fall off the edge. Oh, come on! And watch him fall off the edge. There we go. 3rd try. The Batwing Demons then fly us to Anor Londo to begin Act 2. Or so they should. See, I'm not too happy with the damage output of our Pyromancer's Flame, so we're going to need to max that out. The only problem is maxing out the Flame. That'll cost us over 340,000 souls, and there's no way I'm farming that in Act 1. But I do know where we can farm it easily in Act 2. The Painted World. Which means it's back to Firelink Shrine to become an egg and hitch a ride on Big Bird back to the Undead Asylum. We're only here for the Peculiar Dull, but we do have a couple of Black Knights to take down while we're here, with one of them giving us a genuine jump scare. And along with them, our old friend Oscar learns an important lesson. That lesson being, he never should have unlocked us from our cell. Now that we've reached Anor Londo, we take down the first of the 2 gargoyles with ease and make our way to the rafters. I'm not gonna lie, this part always makes me sweat a little bit. But once we've made it through with gravity helping us take down the painting guardians blocking our path, we arrive at our destination, the painted world of Ariamis. There's honestly not that much for us to do while we're here. We grab the Fire Surge spell, which I haven't decided if we're going to bother using later or not yet, and of course unlock the front gate for easy access to the reason we're here, the Phalanx, the best souls farming spot in the entire game. You can get about 7,000 souls every time you kill all of them, and with the bonfire mere seconds away, before you know it, we've got all the souls we need to max out our Pyromancy Flame. We just need to get out of the painting first. Even with our Pyromancer's Flame not dealing the damage we want to see yet, it's just enough to take out the undead dragon guarding the bridge. Then after a quick jump to make it open its legs. Why did I write it like that? We get to our next boss, Crossbreed Priscilla. But we aren't going to kill her just yet. You see, one-shotting Priscilla has a chance of corrupting your save file and leaving you trapped in the painted world, essentially soft-locking you out of completing any more of the game. So if we're going to kill her, we're going to make sure it's the absolute last thing we do. And after exiting the painting and running all the way from Anor Londo back to Blight Town, we finally have it, a maxed out Pyromancer's Flame. And now run all the way back to Anor Londo. Why am I doing this to myself? With the bridge now dropped from our last visit, we can head straight through to the main castle, taking out the second gargoyle along the way, and showing the giant dads guarding it that we mean business. Second fun fact about my first playthrough for all of you, when I eventually went back to Dark Souls after my initial quit all those years ago, this archer was the next thing that made me put the game down. Though this time only for a day or two before coming back and discovering just how important parrying is. We make our way inside to rest at the bonfire and talk to our old pal Sir. Hey, where's Solaire? I'm sure he's fine.
No. Wait. Wait.
That's my son! It's my boy! My boy!
We initially do the stair skip to cut straight through to ONS before remembering that Sigmar exists. We need to make sure that we progress his quest line all the way to the end for reasons you'll understand later. We also pick up the Havel set and take out the Mimic while we're here. And now for a little pre-boss confession, guys. It hurts to say it, but Ornstein and Smough, well, there's no easy way to say it, so I'm just going to come out with it. I've never beat them legit. I always just summon Solaire to take the aggro off of me.
You piece of shit!
I know. Blasphemy. It's how I beat the game on my first complete run, and well, old habits die hard. But this time, no excuses. This time, it's all me. All me, and a single shot. And to my surprise, I somehow managed to take out Ornstein on my first attempt. Next up is Smough. He was a bit more of a challenge. Sometimes we traded in the cutscene, sometimes I ran out of time and died to power within, and other times the placement wasn't just right. But after about a dozen attempts, it finally happened. Ornstein and Smough killed in a single hit. I was so excited by my first solo kill of the duo that I actually forgot to heal at this point and died to power within, but it doesn't matter, it still counts. And now, our reward. Amazing chest ahead indeed, boys. We received the Lord Vessel from Guinevere, giving us the ability to fast travel. Finally! No more running from one side of the game to the other. Now, this is technically the start of Act 3, but I'm not ready to take on the Four Lords just yet. We've got some cleaning up to do, and lots of it. So buckle up, everyone, because it's time for a montage, and we're not taking any prisoners.
Hit Combs music!
With Anor Londo now useless to us, there's no need for this Firekeeper anymore. Besides, I've got a perfectly good one at home. Prince Rickard shows us his aim is almost as bad as his armour. The Gaping Dragon eats Chaos Storm's lava after a quick reset from cutting off the tail. The Moonlight Butterfly shows off how terrible its aim is before being given the final headache. Great Wolf Sif proves he's the worst guard dog of all time, not even being able to defend his master's grave from a naked man wearing only a sack on his head. Havel learns that all the armour in the world won't save anyone from these fucking hands. After committing the second dragon genocide of Lord Ran and wearing their skin, the Hydra eats dirt courtesy of the Gaping Dragon's tail weapon. The various NPCs of Filing Shrine realise why I wasn't advancing any of their quest lines, and even after running all the way to New Londo, the crestfallen warrior learns that nowhere is safe from my slaughter. Domhnall thinks he's safe on the bridge, but didn't see me easily make the jump earlier when I killed Lortrek. Quelaag gives us our final gift of Fire Tempest. After making bacon from the 2 balls of the Duke's Archives, we get the broken pendant from the Crystal Golem, and make Dusk wish that literally anyone in the world but me came to her rescue. No one is safe.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
With our montage of death now out of the way, it's time to enter the DLC before hitting up Act 3. Starting off with the Sanctuary Guardian, who I do personally find can be a bit of a challenging fight, depending on what attacks it decides to throw at you. But once again, RNG's smiles down on us, gives us the perfect opening for a clean Fire Tempest, and the Sanctuary Guardian enters the first try club. Feels good, man. Having killed Dusk in the base game, Elizabeth the Mushroom isn't here because time travel reasons, I don't know.
People assume that time is a strict progression of cause to effect, but actually, from a non-linear, non-subjective viewpoint, it's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
But that counts as another kill for us. We make our way through the Royal Wood towards our next boss, and one of my favourite fights in the Souls series. But before then, I do have a question for you guys. Does anyone else find the Royal Woods, I don't know, how do I describe it? Really fucking bad. I swear, no matter how many times I play this game, I always get lost trying to make my way through here. Anyway, after eventually finding our way through, we show Chester the mercy he so kindly asks us for, and it's time for the one I've been waiting for, Artorias. Can we get 2 first tries in a row? God damn it. So, after multiple attempts, I came to realise something. We've once again reached a stage where our damage isn't quite cutting it anymore, and unfortunately, there's only one thing we can do, and that's to equip the Crown of Dusk, which boosts all of our pyromancy damage by a further 20%. And unfortunately, that means we're going to have to say goodbye to our sack. You may not like it, and I don't like it, but this right here, this is what the new peak masculinity looks like. We swap out our Hornet Ring for the Bellowing Dragon Crest Wing, and with our new setup and a lucky overhead strike, Artorias falls. Rest easy, Brave Knight. You fought well. Don't worry though, buddy, I'll send your girlfriend straight to hell to keep you company.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Now, some of you might be wondering, what are we doing here? Why are we in the DLC at this point in the game? And the answer is, for our last spell of the run, the Darkbead. A spell that was infamous in the PvP gank scene back in the day due to its massive damage output and its fast casting speed. And after sneaking past the bloatheads of the Abyss, we've got it, and can safely enter Act 3. Seath the Scaleless is our first target. We make our way through the Duke's Archives, and after winning our duel against the Crystal General, enter Seath's initial boss room. Come on, you maidenless weave, let's get this over with. After waking up in prison, we head back through to the archives until we can eventually enter the Crystal Caves, where quite embarrassingly we fail to hit either of the gold crystal golems, but it's okay, because both of them felt so sorry for us they decided to just do the job for us. GG's, I guess. Now it's on to Sif, who would end up being possibly the easiest fight in the entire game. Once we shatter the crystal, breaking his immortality, he remains stunned for a moment, but a moment is all we need to line up a perfect shot of Fire Tempest, and Sif the Scaleless joins the First Try Club. Before we leave the archives, we have one more thing to do, and that's purchase all of Big Hat Logan's sorceries, thus finishing his questline, and allowing us to get the Tin Crystallization Catalyst, which we will need for the Dark Bead spell. We need a lot of souls to buy him out, but thanks to the Lord Vessel, we can just warp straight back to the Painted World to grind the Phalanx again. And after buying out his shop, the old man has served his purpose, so we send him to join his student Griggs in the Great Beyond. Now that we can finally use the Dark Bead, I think it's time I show you what it's capable of. And I can't think of a better target to start off with than the Stray Demon of the Undead Asylum. Yep, your eyes do not deceive you. Almost 6,000 damage in the blink of an eye. After seeing that damage, I think it might be time for some more cleanup. But Darkbead really does make a joke out of pretty much every non-boss enemy in the game going forward. Even the Hellkite Drake of the Undead Berg, which until now I've never been able to kill, is no match. We also finish off the 2 undead merchants of the Berg and Mimon Oswald before heading back through Sen's fortress to take out the prowling demons below, finish off the remaining demon of Anor Londo, and while we're here, we turn Anor Londo dark by removing the Guinevere illusion.
Thou that tarnisheth the Godmother's image, I am Gwyndolin, and thy transgression shall not go unpunished. Thou shalt perish in the twilight of Anor Londo.
The 2 blades of the Dark Moon Covenant decide that they just don't want to live anymore, and just look at that damage! We aren't even in hyper mode and we're missing half of the shots and it still takes them down in 1. No wonder this was a PvP favourite back in the day. Now it's time for Dark Sun Gwyndolin.
Let the atonement for thy felonies commence.
Not a hard fight, but an annoying one. He manages to avoid the First Try Club, but makes the mistake of foregoing his magic for his crossbow on the second attempt, and is no match for a single shot of Darkbead.
Swathed in dark, an eternal curse upon thee.
I think we'll take down everyone's favourite Lord Soul next, the Bed of Chaos. On our way to Lost Isleth, we take out Quelaag's sister and make sure her simp Ingvi is watching before sending him to join her.
You monster! Lady, what have you done? What have you done?
His worms almost get the last laugh. Next up, a crowd favourite, the Ceaseless Discharge. Hey buddy, you ready to fall? Nah, not today, get Darkbeaded. So remember at the beginning of the video where I asked you guys for a mulligan on the Capra Demon that I'd pay back later? There, Capra Demon in 1 shot. Happy now? We even? Man, I'm going to be picking up this spell every time I can going forward. Don't think it's all Darkbead going forward though guys, far from it. Like the Demon Fire Sage for example. Did you know, despite his namesake, he's actually weak to fire? The more you know. Now the Centipede Demon. It's been a while since I gave you guys a fun fact, so here's another. If you watched me and Yokai's Night Rain bosses tier list, you'll know that he's never played this game but loves this fight in Night Rain. So I sent him a video of the boss arena while doing this playthrough, and all he had to say was, nah, fuck that. I was a little bit worried for a second that Centipede wouldn't reach me before Power Within killed me, but once he picks up the pace, it's 99 Centipede. Before taking on the final boss of this area, we need to rescue Sigmire from the Chaos Eaters. We jump down early and take advantage of gravity, then help the Onion Boy finish them off with Darkbead, thus setting him up for the end of his questline. And now it's time for everyone's favourite boss in all of Dark Souls, the Bed of Chaos. Kill me now. This boss is a one-shot no matter what you do. It's just a matter of how you do it. We go for the good old-fashioned firebomb technique. It gets a little bit hairy, I won't lie, but Bed of Chaos joins the ranks of the First Try Club. Next Lord Soul on the table is Nito, arguably my favourite of the four lords. Since we did the catacombs earlier, we're easily able to make our way through to the bottom to fight Pinwheel, where we very narrowly avoid the Pinwheel Hall of Shame, but add Pinwheel to the First Try Club. Now we can head on into the Tomb of Giants. All jokes aside, my least favourite area of the game. Luckily, we remembered to pick up the Sunlight Maggot and Lost Eyes lift so we can at least see a little bit. Patches tries tempting us with promises of treasure, but maybe the real treasure was the one-shots we made along the way. Please like me. Down in the pit, we meet up with Rhea and toast her now hollow bodyguards Vince and Nico, and after rescuing Milady, send her to her gods. Now it's time for the Gravelord himself, Nito. Using a divine weapon, we're able to permanently unalive his skeleton mobs, which are arguably more deadly than the Gravelord himself. RNGesus blesses us once more and gives us the perfect grab, which puts us right into hyper mode range, and after dodging Nito's next attack, we return him to the grave. With only one more Lord Soul remaining, it's time for our final bit of cleanup before closing shop. We remember that Blacksmith Ricker exists and kill him with a shockwave, make our way to Ash Lake to finally put an end to the Onion family's bloodline, and then head back to the DLC. We convince Hawkeye Go to ground the dragon Calamite, promising that we won't just kill him as soon as we're done. And now unable to fly away, we take the fight to Calamity himself, Black Dragon Calamite. It takes more than a couple of tries, but after half a dozen attempts or so, we get the perfect opening, and like the dragons before him, Calamite turns to ash. We thank our pal Hawkeye before instantly going back on our promise, and descend into the abyss. But little did I know, waiting in the abyss was nothing but despair. Manus, Father of the Abyss, the fight that broke me. Now, I tried everything with this fight, I really did, but there's one problem. One-shotting Manus, it's not about positioning, it's not about timing, and it's not about skill. It all comes down to luck. There's only one way to kill Manus in a single shot, and that's with either a Fire Tempest or Chaos Storm, but not only that, it needs to be perfect, requiring all three pillars to hit, but also needing Manus to jump. Time and time again, Manus jumped. Time and time again, all three pillars hit. but never together at the same time. I tried my best, I well and truly did. I even resorted to boosting my humanity just to see if that had any effect on anything. But after a grand total of over 15 hours and over 500 attempts, I had to call it quits as I was at risk of breaking the most important rule. Rule 11. Having fun. RNGesus had been kind to us, really kind, all throughout this run. But right here and now, I had to admit defeat. Manus 1, Sack 0. Now, I could keep going. I could delay this video until I finally get lucky, but that's not what gaming's about to me. Challenge run or not, if I'm not having fun, then what am I really even doing with my time right now? Manus, I bow to you. And viewers, I'm sorry. I wasn't able to kill every boss on this run, but I make an oath to you right now. At the risk of sounding clickbaity, if this channel ever gets to a stage where I can afford to do this for a living, I will live stream myself taking on Manus with this build and save file until I get him, no matter how long it takes. Consider this oath legally binding. I really hope I don't come to regret that promise one day. With Manus now out of the picture, it's time for the last real challenge of the run, the Four Kings. Now, like Manus, there's only one true way to one-shot the Four Kings. A well-placed fire surge while in hyper mode as the second king spawns in. But after Manus, I'm broken and I'm bored of magic. I want to have some fun. So I'm going to ask you guys for one more mulligan. Rule 2 states every single enemy must be killed in one shot. The Four Kings may share one health bar, but they are multiple enemies. I mean, I didn't farm all these dragon scales for several hours just to take down the Hydra. We're doing this fight melee only, one shot per king. What sort of damage are we looking at here? Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
You picked the wrong house!
The Four Kings. Now, while some of you may be disappointed I chose this route for the one shot, it needs to be said. The fun I had doing the fight this way massively outweighs any criticism I may receive for it. By far the hardest part of the fight was managing my health and doing the fight while in hyper mode at all times in a time limit. With power within only lasting 100 seconds and the kings spawning every 35 to 40 seconds, I had to not only manage my health, but be quick in between every single king as it would require 3 perfect kills to take them down. But after about an hour of trying, it finally happened. 4 kings, 3 one-shots. So here we are, the end of the run. I make my way back through the world, killing every single thing I can think of, from the blacksmiths to the merchants to the remaining NPCs and mini-bosses. I even ended up killing NPCs that I wasn't aware weren't worth any points at the time. We take our chances with Priscilla and get lucky. In my eyes, the game's way of apologising for Manus, and it was finally time to enter the kiln of the first flame for our final fight before closing the cycle. Gwyn, the Lord of Cinder. Gwyn's always been weak to parrying, so how does a good parry do against him? Not enough? That's fine. It only seems fitting that the Lord of Cinder should burn. And after linking the fire, we start New Game Plus, and with a single plunging attack on the Asylum Demon, close the cycle. So, with our journey at an end, it's time to tally up the points. Drum roll please, because at the time of writing this script, I don't even know if I failed or succeeded myself. I did not think it was that close. I thought I killed a lot more than that. Let's have a look at what I missed. Right, I've never even seen some of those enemies, but I'm confident if I found them. None of them are Manus again, so I know I could have one-shot those bastards if I just remembered or knew about them. But it doesn't matter, because I did it. Thank you all for coming on this journey with me. So, how would I rate the one-shot challenge overall? That was honestly some of the most fun I've had with this game in a long time, but man, the setup! We beat the whole game in a shorter time than it took just to get the build going, which may be coming down the line in this series of challenge videos I plan on doing. Anyway guys, I've been Sack, this is ScrewLooseGames. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. What did you think of the video? What did you think of the challenge? What challenge run do you want to see me do in this series? As for what's up next, well, I gave you a little tease of this challenge at the end of me and Yokai's tier list video, so I think it's only fair I give you a teaser of what's to come next now. Thank you all for watching the video, and I'll see you again real soon. Cheers.